Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you amazing people, and welcome to this workshop. So I'm very, very excited to be speaking at the Women in Cybersecurity Middle East conference. And honestly, it was very exciting to get the invitation. And I hope that whatever I'm going to share with you over the next 30 minutes, you're able to pick up, small things that you can do to help, bring yourself into the path of gratitude. So as the workshop says, the title of it says, I am thankful for me, okay? The first step in building confidence, okay? And before I get into what I want to talk about, I think that it's really important for you to understand who I am and where I'm coming from. So as the accent suggests, okay, I'm actually born and raised in Toronto, Canada. My parents are originally from Tanzania, and they moved to Toronto back in the mid-70s. So me and my two older brothers, all three of us were born and raised there. Education-wise, I did my Bachelor of Commerce degree, and I did a major in human resources. I did a minor in marketing, and I graduated and spent most of my career working with Ernst & Young, or now known as E&Y, which is one of the largest accounting firms in the world. I always worked in their HR department, and I was mostly on the learning side. I worked for them for a couple of years in Toronto, and then in 2007, I decided to come to Dubai and spent most of my time here in Dubai working for them as the head of learning and development. I think gratitude has always been a part of my life. It's always been a part of my journey. I believe that I just didn't recognize it until much later. So my experience, the first experience that I can remember, coming into contact with gratitude was with my father. All right. So my dad was somebody who went through a lot of challenges in his life. All right. When I was 7 years old, he had an accident at work that resulted in, them having to amputate his left arm. Less than 10 years later, when I was 16, he had another accident where he became completely paralyzed. And I was very young at the time. But one thing that I remember was whatever was happening to him, whatever was happening in his life, I always remember him sitting down and giving thanks. I always remember him having this conversation, thank you, God, that, whatever has happened in my life, it doesn't matter, but at least I still have life. I still have breath. I still have my family. And this is something that stayed with me honestly throughout my life. And that's why I say that gratitude was part of my growing up. I just didn't realize how important it was or the impact that it was having in my life until I got much older. Now, I am somebody who always used to take time to sit down and, I would always have a journal, and you would always catch me, starting my day writing gratitude. But the time in my life when gratitude really became the focus was shortly after I gave birth to my daughter. So I have an 8-year-old daughter, and she was born in 2013. And when she was born, I didn't realize it, but I went into postpartum depression, okay, after she was born. And that began a very, very tough journey for me because the first month after she was born, I was not feeling okay, but I thought, what, it's just hormones. Second month, I was like, okay, well, this is going on a bit longer. And by the third month, I was literally waking up in the morning and I was crying for 1-2 hours at a time. And when that happened is when I realized that, something was not right. And that's when I, had the realization that this is not just hormones. This is not just baby blues. There is something wrong. And I realized that I had gone into postpartum depression without even realizing it. And what happened during that time period is my self-esteem, which was really, really high, all of a sudden dropped down to nothing. Okay. And the first thing I did was I reached out to a life coach, a very good friend of mine, and I started getting the help that I needed. And this is when gratitude started to play a huge, huge role consciously in my life. Okay. And the first thing that I realized was we're always taught to give thanks for the things that are outside, external to us. Be thankful for the fact that you have breath, be thankful for the fact that you have a roof over your head, you have a bed to sleep on. And all of that is absolutely true. Okay. And that's something that, I would talk about in another workshop. But the focus of today, and what I want all of you guys to understand, is the first place that gratitude has to start is with myself. Okay, I came across an amazing quote, and I'll read it to you. And it says, "Don't forget to tell yourself positive things, because you must love yourself internally to glow externally." You must love yourself internally to glow externally. And I always tell people that, you know what, in life, we're so busy going through the motions of life. We get up in the morning. If you have kids to take care of, you have your family to look after, you have your relationships, you have your job, you have your career, you have your business. And in all of these areas of our life, we are always expecting to give 100%. The problem with that is that I cannot give 100% to somebody or to something if I myself am not feeling 100% full myself. Now, if I were to ask all of you to take out a piece of paper and write down all of the things that are wrong with you, okay? All the flaws that you have, the things you want to improve on, the weaknesses, believe me, you would take out that paper and you would fill it in so quickly, because we are so overly critical of ourselves. Okay, finding fault, not only with ourselves, but with each other, has become something that unfortunately has really become second nature. So if you take out that piece of paper and I say, okay, you know what, write down 10 things that you would like to improve about yourself. All of you will be done making that list of 10 things, honestly, in 2 minutes flat. But if I ask you to take out a piece of paper and I ask you to write down 10 things that you are thankful for about yourself, I can pretty much guarantee that even this half an hour that we have together is not going to be enough for you. And that's why it is so important that the first person you have to be thankful for is yourself. Now, how does it start? It starts by appreciating the things that each one of us have. So at this point in my life, when I was feeling so low because of the depression, I honestly couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I didn't recognize the person who was staring back, and so I avoided it altogether. I didn't see the smile. I didn't see that loving nature that, people often describe me as. There's so many things, so many compliments people have given me, and I didn't see any of it. And what had to happen with me was I had to start, first of all, recognizing the stuff about myself. Now, when I say to, sit down and write down 10 things that you're thankful for about yourself, drop the criticism. Okay. Yes, we all, would love if we were 5 kilos lighter. Okay. We would love if, we could go out and be the healthiest person in the world. We would love if, we had picture perfect, flawless skin. But what most of us don't realize is the first step is I have to be thankful for what I have, and only then will more things come into my life. There's a saying that, the more gratitude that I give, the more comes back to return to me. So imagine if I actually sit and start to focus on all of the things that I am thankful for about myself. Now, if each one of you took this piece of paper and handed it to somebody who you know and said, listen, can you write 10 things, 10 good things about me, 10 things that you're thankful for about me? Again, they will have no problem writing it, as you will have no problem writing it about somebody else who you know and you love. But it's very, very important that you take the time and you take the step to sit down and think, what is it that I love about myself? What is it that I am grateful and thankful about myself? Now, it can be physical qualities, okay? I can very confidently tell you, I love my smile. It is something that I have grown to, I always say it's the best thing I put on in the morning is the smile. Okay. And I love it. I know that my eyes for me are my best feature. There is so much, okay, in my eyes, the love that I have, the sadness that I've gone through. They are very, very deep eyes to look into, and I love them. Now, there was a time in my life when I couldn't say things like this, as I'm sure many of you are not able to have this conversation with yourself. But today I'm at a point where I realize that the only way that I can give 100% to my daughter, for example, the only way that I can teach her to love qualities about herself is I have to love the qualities about myself too. Because one of the biggest traps that all of us fall into is we are very good at telling other people, right? We're very good at telling other people how to do things, what they should do, what they should say, how they should feel. But when it comes to teaching children, for example, children don't listen to what you say, they watch what you do. So my daughter, from the time she was born, has seen me sit at the table every morning and write gratitude. And in that gratitude, I write a lot of things about myself. What am I thankful for about myself? Yes, there's my smile. Yes, there's my eyes, but there's so much more than that. I know that I'm a very loyal person, and I'm very thankful for the fact that, you know what? When you build when I am in a relationship, when I'm in a friendship, you will not find anybody more loyal than me. Okay. I know that I am somebody who is very loving. Okay. I love that emotion of giving somebody a hug and coming and, making them feel better. I'm somebody who all of my friends will say that, you know what, if we need anything at 3:00 in the morning, Shaista is a person who we can go to. But it was a journey for me to go through to get to this point where I can say all of these things. And I want all of you guys to go through this journey, because believe me, when you get to that point, when you can actually confidently sit down and write down these 10 things, it is honestly such a beautiful feeling. Every morning I wake up in the morning, I lie in bed and I think to myself, I am so thankful for me. I remember when my father passed away and we were getting emails and we were getting messages and we were getting cards and we were getting flowers and letters, and people were writing the most amazing things, okay, about who he was and the impact that he had in their lives. And while I was so appreciative of all of the things I was reading, I remember sitting there thinking, wouldn't it have been great if people actually said this to him while he was alive? Because yes, it makes the family feel good and I feel great that, fantastic. I mean, he was the closest person to me in my life. I know the impact he had on me. And it was so comforting to know that that personality who I loved so much had such an impact on other people. But wouldn't it have been great if he heard it in his lifetime? So wouldn't it be great if in your lifetime and if in your time you are able to, first of all, recognize the things that are great about yourself? Because once you have that gratitude for yourself, once you have that self-confidence, believe me, you can go out and you can shine like a diamond. And people will see. It's not, people often mistake self-confidence for conceited, snobbish. I've often been called these things in my life. That's not it at all. It's I am very comfortable in my skin. There was a time when, I hated pictures. I hated people taking pictures of me. I hated being in pictures. I'm a semi-professional photographer, so I was always on this end of the camera. I was always the one taking the pictures. And when I went through this journey of building up my confidence, learning to be thankful about myself, I all of a sudden found myself picking up my phone and taking selfies of myself. And I all of a sudden found myself very comfortable with the person that was staring back. Because yes, I can criticize, the shape of my nose, how big my forehead is. I can criticize the fact that, I would love to be 55 kilos, but I'm not. But that's only going to happen the day that I fall in love with the 60-kilo version of myself. The day I fall in love with all of the different aspects of me, because we are amazing, amazing individuals. Doesn't matter what greater power you believe in, but to understand the fact that every single human being has been created so differently that not a single one of us have the same fingerprint. And when you understand that magnitude, you realize how special I am as an individual. So one of the things that I want all of you to do when you walk away from this workshop is sit down and take out that piece of paper and write down 10 things that you are thankful for about yourself. It can be the fact that, I think that I'm so thankful for the fact that I'm an amazing spouse. I listen, I do, all of the things that makes you a great spouse. Maybe it's the fact that, you want to be thankful that I am so good at what I do in my job. Whatever it is, whether it is the physical qualities, whether it is your relationship, whether it is your role as a woman, whether it is your role as a spouse, whether it is your role as a mother, whether it is your role as a daughter, whether it is your role, whatever your role may be. The point is to sit down and really focus on those 10 things that when you look at that list, you feel, you know what? This is who Shaista is. And I am so thankful and grateful today for these things that I have. And once you start being thankful for yourself, once you're able to sit and give that gratitude for yourself, believe me, you will feel in a completely different space. Now, yes, the day-to-day challenges do come in. I am not, the most as positive as I am. Of course, I'm a human being. I have my days where I also don't feel 100%. But alongside the power of gratitude, I also discovered the power of affirmations. And every day I pick one statement. I am beautiful. I am loving. I am caring. I am ambitious. Because those two words of I am and whatever you put after it is the most powerful statement you will ever make. And that's why I titled the workshop, I am thankful for me. Because when you take those two words of I am and anything you fill in after it. So every day, the other practice that I have, so yes, every day I do gratitude. I write down things and I like to write my gratitude because for me, taking a piece of paper and taking a pen and actually putting things down has really helped to build it into my subconscious mind, that it's penetrated so deep. So along with that, I also listen to affirmations, okay? Every day when me and my daughter sit in the car and I drop her off at school, we listen to this 9-minute audio of I am statements. And I know that although she doesn't understand the benefit of it, I know that I am doing something for her, that when she grows up and she gets into those teenage years where she's going to question, this is the most powerful gift that I can give her. So every day I also pick one I am statement, okay? And I really focus on that. And I'll say it out loud 5 times and I'll write it down and I will really, really, really let it penetrate inside me. Because what I want you guys to understand is that you can be whoever you want to be. Nobody gets to decide who you are as an individual. You get to decide who you are as an individual. And maybe you are somebody who right now looks in the mirror and you just see all of the flaws. Then I challenge you, tomorrow, use the statement, I am beautiful. And really write it and be thankful for it and keep saying it until it, you really start to feel it. And I can guarantee that the next day when you look in the mirror, you will start to be able to pick out the beautiful things about yourself. When I was growing up, I remember, people used to ask me about, oh, what do you think about that girl? How do you think that they look? And I always remember having the same answer. For me, it's not that first impression. You can be the most beautiful individual on the outside, but if your personality is not a nice one, that comes out very clearly. And there could be somebody who, when you first look at them, you think, you know what, they're not so attractive. But if their inside is beautiful, believe me, they end up looking like the most beautiful individual outside as well. And it is so important. So coming back to what I started with, that I can never give 100% if I myself am not feeling 100% fulfilled. Most of what you end up saying to other people is things that you're not even saying. It's the energy that you're carrying within yourself. Now imagine if every interaction, every meeting, every conversation, everything that you do, you are giving out this energy of gratitude, this energy of how thankful you are for the individual that is standing there, for the individual that is speaking. Do you realize how powerful of a human being you can become? Do you realize how much of an impact you can have even on your own internal relationships? You will see that when you start to give gratitude, when you start to focus on the things that you are thankful for about yourself, you will see things will magically start to change. All of a sudden, people will also start to be more thankful for you. And that is the power of gratitude. Remember the quote that I shared at the beginning. Don't forget to tell yourself positive things daily. You must love yourself internally to glow externally. And I know that's why all of us are here. We're all here because you know what? We want the world to see the best version of ourselves. But the only way that the world is going to see the best version of me is if I see the best version of myself, if I recognize the best version of myself, if I am thankful for the best version of myself. Because what I can tell every single one of you is every single one of you is an absolutely beautiful soul. But I can say it as much as I want. You need to recognize it yourself. So what I want all of you to do as you leave this workshop and as you head out, take out that piece of paper. Write down those 10 things that you are so thankful about yourself and keep that piece of paper with you. Every time you feel anything, pull it out and look at it and remind yourself, I'm special. And not only am I special, but I am thankful for the fact that I'm special. The more gratitude you give, the more is going to come into your life. The more abundance is going to flow into your life. The more opportunities are going to flow into your life. It all starts with what I always call an attitude of gratitude. So today, remember, the first step in building your confidence is to say, I am thankful for me. I am thankful for the person who is staring back at me in the mirror. I am thankful for the person who is the mother, the daughter, the employee, the boss, whatever role it may be. I am thankful for me. Thank you so much for listening to me. Hopefully, as I said, you have learned something. Make sure that you do the exercise, and trust me, you do it, you will have so much you want to share about it. You will have so much you want to say about it. And I look forward, to hearing about how the exercise went for you. So thank you so much and have an amazing, amazing rest of the conference.